Hello and welcome back to Word of the Twist Tarot. And today we're going to do a Lenormand reading on why Donald Trump. So I did one last week on Kamala Harris, and I said I was going to follow up with Trump. And the whole angle here is going to be around what they want you to believe and what they're really going to do with him if he goes in office. So I want to be fair here and give the reading, the same between both of them, a fair assessment. So again, this is Word with Twist Tarot. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'm Kev, and I want you to drop your comments below and let me hear your thoughts. Share your opinions. Again, don't need to be nasty. We're all adults here. We need to have a community. We need to talk about this stuff. That's the problem with this country today is that nobody talks anymore and everything's falling apart. Everybody's afraid to offend somebody. They're afraid to say boo. Well, it's time to say boo. Free speech is all about speaking your mind. You ain't gotta be an asshole. You ain't gotta be nasty. We gotta be able to speak to one another, right? So, why Trump? Okay, let's see. So with Lenormand, you read in pairs. The middle card is the theme. So again, what they want you to believe. The lady, they want you to believe everything's going to be happy, gifts, flowers, perfection. Things are going to be better than they are now, which isn't hard for anybody to do. And they're going to use communication. They're going to use the media in order to push the narrative that everything's going to be absolutely perfect and that the crossroads that we stand at as a country will pass. There'll be no more blockages, no more things are going to get in our way. Things are going to be happy once again. And when you look at the numbers around this, you have a 4 stability. Things will be stable. So these crossroads are crumbling down top of with high interest rates and everything else are going to once again be stable. So things are going to be good once again. So moving forward, we're not going to have to decide which way to go. We're in which way to go. So that's a 4. Then you have the 11. The 11 and the 4 is a 15, which gives you the number 6. So from the possibilities that are presented by him, the chaos, the 5 goes to 6, which is harmony. So they want you to believe everything's going to be fine. That's the 6. Then the 6 plus the 12 is a 19. No, is an 18. Sorry, is an 18. The 6 plus the 12 is an 18. 8 and a 1 is a 9. So I was thinking of the 9, so I said 19, which means that we're going to attain, once again, a calm and peaceful time. That's what they want you to believe with Trump. Is that the reality? I don't know yet, but we're going to pull the cards here and find out. But the reality of it is, sorry, the perception of it is that they're going to use the media, social media, whatever, to push a narrative that he's the right person for the job. Do I believe that? Doesn't matter. This isn't about me, my opinion. This is about what the cards are telling us. So drop your thoughts on this line. What do you think? Okay. Now, also, what you can do too is you can read the end cards like a mirror, right? Opens up. And what this is telling us is that through good communication, the crossroads will go away. You'll be able to make a decision on a good path forward. Follow your dreams with faith and precision. All will be clear once you made your decision. Trump will make the decision through communication with his cabinet, with the people in government, and things will just clear up. That's the play. That's what they want you to believe. Now, what's the reality of that? What's the reality of this? Well, let's find out. Is it true or false? It looks pretty good. That's okay. Gentlemen, the querent, that's Trump. Looking towards hope and happiness. And then the garden is a social setting, which means that things are going to be very good and abundant. So with him at the helm, the play is going to be things will get back on track. We're going to have a lot of good times again, a lot of happiness and hope, the sun, vibrancy, life, growth, right? Abundance through him. He's looking at that. But then he has his back to the garden, right? So the garden is what? The garden's all around social scenes. So he's not going to trust a lot of new people coming in. He has to vet them a little more carefully than he did last time. The last, 8 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah, Trump, Biden's 4. He was 4 before that. So interesting. Isn't that interesting? 4 and 4, 8. Think about that number. Anyway, so with Trump in position, it seems that things are going to work out extremely well for everybody. And when you add the numbers together, you have a 4, a 31, which is the sun, stability, which means the economy now, rather than being rocky, falling apart, is going to restabilize through his leadership. So the 4 and the 10 is a 14, which is interesting because a 14 becomes a 5. So if things aren't careful, then things can go south real quick too. So the question I have then is, with the 5 showing up here between these two cards here, is this really a truthful sun or a false sun? What I mean by that is, this a false flag of prosperity or a true prosperity? Because a 5 is a little bit troublesome. So you have the 5 and a 20, which is a 2, which is a 5, and the 2 is a 7, which goes back to assessment. You have to really sit back and assess things to make sure that what's being played out is actually legitimate in the best interest of the people, to bring you to the 4 of stability. Because I'm gonna throw a little wrench in here for everybody. Now, I said I wasn't gonna be biased, okay? I cannot stand Kamala or Biden, but Trump, is he who you think he is? Is he who you think they want you to believe he is? Because here there is it's saying yes, and here is saying the reality looking pretty good. But remember, he always voted on the blue ticket. Best friend with Hillary Clinton. He came up with the promise of to lock her up and didn't do anything. Also, he has ties to George Soros. There was a major lawsuit that happened in New York City. Look up New York Supreme Court many, many years ago. And he was involved with George Soros. So people can change, but a leopard doesn't change your spots so either. So there's a play here. The one with Kamala, she's going to bring destruction right now. That's a fact. She's a Marxist, straight up. There's no way around that. But Trump, see, it's weird because he's looking away from the social scenes. It's kind of like he's ignoring the advice and opinions of others, just couldn't care what they have to say. So he could be setting up in a position of prosperity so everybody can ignore what's going on behind his back. Maybe that's what it is. So maybe he's working on the back end to put in play over 4 years something that can actually bring things down. Kind of like Operation Warp Speed. He pushed that, just be clear on that. And then also on the bailout money for the experiment, he put that in the hands of BlackRock. So I know everybody wants to have hope, but again, we have to drop our division and come together as a people, because we only can save each other. These people aren't going to help us. But I do see that things will be good for 4 years if he gets put in position, or longer. But I'm also worried that things are going to be put in play because the corner cards. The corner has happiness and sun, right? So a lot of prosperity around communication. So things are going to be said there are really good, but if they are or not, we don't know, because when you come over here to the crossroads, that they're going to communicate to plan a path to take the country, and they're going to use the social club. And what I don't like about this card under the crossroad is that when I see it, I'm thinking about the elite, the George Soroses and so forth. So he is acting like his back is turned to him, but I don't know if it really is. So he's trying to make the people think everything is fine, but in the back end, on the backside, things may not be as good as we think they are. Remember, and I am a constitutionalist, so I'm not red or blue, all right? But what bothers me is that conservatives can do more damage than Democrats. Kamala Harris is a straight up Marxist communist. She's going to just bring the country to its knees like Biden had done over the last 4 years, just destroyed it. And yet Obama as well. I'm not going to go into it. You can argue all you want, but it's a fact. NDAA, look that up. Who put that in play? Okay. They're no good. And where I'm going with this is, think about George Bush. What did he do? He brought in the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act took away all your freedoms. So that was done under the guise of conservatism. Trump's under the guise of conservatism. So just be careful. And what I see is that if they do put him in position, we have 4 years as a people to come together and unite. Because if we don't, then whatever is being played on the back end, we won't have enough left to stop it if it's nefarious. You follow me so far? I hope you are. So again, I told you I'd do a reading of Trump, but I wasn't going to be biased, and I'm not being biased. I think things will look well on the front, even though the cards are saying things are going to be okay, but I'm not sure because his back's turned to this thing. So it's almost like it's a game. It's almost like it's a game, and it's gonna be played at our expenses. But you will have 4 years of prosperity. After that, I don't know which way it's gonna go. Maybe I'll do another reading on that later. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull some tarot cards. Yeah, see that? 10 of Cups upside down. Very unhappy time for people after the 4 years. It's not really looking like the theme is not looking like it's gonna be very prosperous after the 4. Things are gonna be upside down again. So people are gonna be emotionally blown away, like thinking to themselves, how could he have done that? Because he's going to use your emotions to make you think that you're attaining now. See, people are short sighted, right? They look at what they have now, but don't think about the repercussions of these short term goals. And then man, this is insane, all cups. And then the outcome is the Knight of Cups upside down, which means it's just no good news, right? Because the Knight of Cups is all about bringing good news and happiness and things like that, but it's upside down here. So that night, that fire energy is flipped, which means that the things that you thought were going to happen aren't going to happen at all. It's really around tricks and, well, when it's upside down, it's really around manipulation and hypocrisy and lies and trickery, and that's what I'm seeing. So when I read the Kamala, go back and watch my Kamala Harris video with Lenormand. It's really the same vibe. The difference is that this happens after the 4 years. Hers happens right now. They're both good. She's going to collapse the country, like it or not. She's going to bring in and flood it with open borders. He's going to do it after, because he says something that really bothered me too the other day. He said that people need to be removed from the country who are here illegally, but we need a lot more people in the country that are from overseas, but we don't. Our people in our country right now, left, right, gay, straight, black, white, I don't care what you are, we need help in our country. We don't need more people here. We can't afford what we have now. He wants to bring in more people. We need more. Why do we need more? We can't even get work. The corporations are in bed. If he would have said, like, look, we're going to shut down all this corporate monopolies and corporate destruction, I'm down with that, but I'm not hearing that type of talk coming from him. I'm hearing the same type of talk that I'm hearing from the so-called left side, the lefties. Because at the end of the day, the righties and lefties are one and the same. There's no more true Democrats. There's no more true Republicans. They're both one party of communists, Marxists, socialists. And you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, but it's a fact. This is what we're dealing with. So the country is in a bad spot, and I'm hoping that things change, but I'm not seeing a long-term solution here. And again, the 19, 10 and the 9, it's a cycle. 9 and a 1, 19, right? 9 and a 1 is a 10. Continual cycle. Continual cycle. That's upside down. That's upside down. Very negative reversed energy. You're not going to see what's happening because you're going to be too blinded with thinking that if they put him in position, that you've been saved, but you haven't. It's only for 4 years. Anyway, again, I promised you I wouldn't be biased, and I wasn't. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I want to hear your thoughts below. And again, you ain't got to be nasty. Let's have a conversation. Let's communicate. That's what we need to do. America has lost its way because people don't communicate no more. That's really the problem. We just shut down and we're nasty to each other. Oh, you're a Democrat. You're an asshole. Oh, you're a Republican. You're a fascist. You don't even know what a fascist is. I mean, really, a fascism is when the government and corporations come together. It's corporatism. That's what we have today. You have the Googles and you have the Amazons working with the government to take away your rights, both left and right. See, free speech today, these guys are only the freedom of speech in which they allow and tolerate. If you say something contrary, you can't have that. Censored. And that's both the left and the right. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. And until next time, I want to see you all in the next video. I'm going to try to do something a little more positive, but I did promise I would do the Trump reading. I did say I would do some geopolitical stuff. So again, we shall see what happens of the outcome. But no matter what, us people, the citizens of this country, have to come together because it's us, the collective, is going to make a change, not these assholes in position of power. They don't care about us. Alrighty. Well, until next time, take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.